The News 4 Rundown starts now.
A night of big decisions being made here in the DMV. We're working for you on a busy evening that will determine the future of Maryland politics and one of our Washington sports teams. Thanks for joining us for the News 4 Rundown. I'm Jim Adley.
I'm Sean Yancey. Yes, it is primary day in Maryland. Voters are choosing candidates for governor, Congress, and several county races. Now, the polls close tonight at 8 p.m., and you can vote as long as you are in line by then.
Another big decision being made tonight. Who will the Washington Wizards select with the #1 overall pick in this year's NBA draft? That gets underway in less than 30 minutes, live from Brooklyn. The top prospects are there, but only one will call Washington home. Our team insider JP Finley will join us live from Barclays Center moments before the pick comes in.
But we begin tonight with what is expected to be one of the most competitive and most expensive races in the state, Maryland's 6th congressional district. Democratic incumbent April McClain-Delaney is facing off against David Trone, who once held that seat.
News 4's Jackie Benson and Darcy Spencer are monitoring this race for us tonight. Jackie is standing by at Trone's election night headquarters, but first Darcy takes us to Gaithersburg and the watch party for McClain-Delaney and her team. Darcy, what's the mood ahead of the polls closing there?
Well, Jim, right now we are at the campaign watch party at the Holiday Inn in Gaithersburg. It's really a lot of campaign staff, a few supporters really getting ready for the events to happen later on this evening. But I can tell you April McClain-Delaney is in a political fight for her future. She told me she was not expecting this primary challenge, especially from David Trone, who used to hold this seat. And in recent weeks, this race has become quite nasty. Now, McClain-Delaney ran as a common sense, common ground candidate, but when the Trump administration began federal job and program cuts, DOGE and mass deportation, that all changed. Now, she says she's running on her record. She said she has fought the administration, including getting Trump's name off the Kennedy Center. She's fighting the proposed ICE warehouse detention facility in Hagerstown, and she's been trying to restore some of the cuts and jobs that were lost last year. Now, but Trone has been highly critical of her vote for the Laken-Riley Act, and that basically allows some undocumented immigrants to be detained when they're accused of certain crimes. Now, McClain-Delaney told me in that one-on-one interview just last week that she regretted that vote, and if she had the opportunity, she would not vote the same way. Again, we don't know if that's going to resonate with voters. Now, it became the focus of Trone's multi-million-dollar ad campaign. If you watch our station, you have seen these ads where he really went after her on this vote that she had. Now, he has his personal wealth that he has spent somewhere around $25 million on this race. Her, about $7 million. She is personally wealthy as well. She also has the backing of establishment here in the state of Maryland. Democrats, the governor, Jamie Raskin, Van Hollen, as well as Angela Alsobrooks. But again, it's coming down to what matters to voters and who was able to get their supporters out to the polls, and whether it's a mail-in ballot, early voting, or coming out today on Election Day. Both candidates indicated to me that this is a very tight race, so it's going to come down to actually who came out to the polls and went ahead and cast their ballot. So the polls are still open. As you mentioned, we're going to be here watching and waiting. The governor is actually expected to be here a little bit later tonight as part of the campaign watch party. So we'll be watching and waiting for those results to come in. Hopefully, we'll have a decision later tonight.
All right, Darcy Spencer. Thank you, Darcy. We want to head to Frederick, Maryland now. David Trone's camp is waiting for those results to come in tonight as well.
That's right. And our Jackie Benson joins us live. Jackie, how confident is the team feeling there tonight?
Well, good evening from Frederick, first of all. And certainly they're just getting set up here, but a lot of confidence in this room, the people who work for David Trone. Now, want to talk a little bit about the Maryland 6th. It is one of the most geographically and economically diverse districts in the state. It goes from Montgomery County and includes all of Garrett, Allegheny, Frederick, and Washington counties. Now, as Darcy mentioned, this race pits incumbent April McClain-Delaney against David Trone. She gained that seat when Trone ran for the Senate in 2024, a race that he lost to Angela Alsobrooks. Both candidates spent millions of their own money in this primary race. Earlier this afternoon, we spoke about that and other topics with University of Maryland politics professor David Carroll.
The fact that both candidates are extremely wealthy and are spending freely from their family fortunes is not something we see in most races. Sometimes there's one candidate who's in a position to self-finance. It's not usually the case that there are two candidates who are in a position to do so to this extent. So that's unusual as well, especially for a House race.
And we do also want to mention, obviously, the Republican primary is also tonight. Republican candidates are Christopher Burnett, Robin Ficker, and Mariella Roca. That's the latest from Frederick. Back to you.
All right, Jackie Benson, we'll be checking in with you throughout the evening from there. Thanks so much. Now to Maryland's 5th congressional district, the race to replace longtime Congressman Steny Hoyer.
Yeah, State Delegate Adrian Boafo received Hoyer's endorsement, but the race includes about 24 other candidates, including Harry Dunn and also Rashern Baker. News 4's Tracy Wilkins has been covering that District 5 race for us and joins us live from Adrian Boafo's headquarters tonight. So, Tracy, what's it like there?
Well, Sean, folks are just starting to come in, and I was talking with this campaign manager and asking, how do you all feel tonight? He said, well, we're feeling pretty good so far. And I could tell you that, obviously, Adrian Boafo is feeling pretty good because he was up there practicing his acceptance speech when we came in, making sure that everything was working here. But, yeah, there's a lot that has happened in this race that has changed last minute. First of all, as you mentioned, this is the person who Hoyer would like to see carry on his legacy here after 45 years. More than 24 candidates who jumped into this race hoping that they would be the ones. But here are some of the things that have changed last minute. County Executive Aisha Braveboy has pulled her support for Walla Blagay, an at-large council member who is in this race, and has decided that she is going to support Berebe. Now, Quincy Berebe, who is a newcomer to the political scene, who has done a lot of her own fundraising here, now has the support of County Executive Aisha Braveboy in the 11th hour. So what does that say about what's happening with Boafo, what's going on in this campaign tonight? The other thing that we can tell you is that he has had the support and endorsement of Governor Wes Moore and Senator Angela Alsobrooks, but from our understanding, neither are expected to be here tonight. He went out earlier today with Congressman Hoyer, and they were talking with folks at a polling place, but there are still a lot of questions about what happened to some of that core support that we were expecting to see here, and whether that's going to change as the night goes on. And what does it mean when you have the county executive, Prince George's, changing her vote, not for Boafo, but for Berebe? So a lot happening in the final hours here, people paying close attention to polling. I can tell you that there have been a lot of questions about the PAC money that has gone to support Adrian Boafo in this race. Money that is aligned with AIPAC, money that is aligned with crypto, and people questioning, since he is also a federal lobbyist, what does that mean if he were to make it into Congress, and what does that mean for his representation? So this is one of those races where people have been paying very close attention to all of the candidates, this candidate in particular, and we're paying close attention to what's happening in these final minutes and how people are moving as they're waiting on the results to come back in. It is really important for folks to know that if you are going to vote tonight, if you haven't made it already, please do not go to the post office. Drop your mail-in ballot, if you are using one, into an actual drop box. That's according to the Maryland Board of Elections. They are saying that it is just with the post dates and all the things that you need to do to make sure that your ballot is returned properly, that you definitely want to go to a drop box and not to the post office in this late hour. 218,000 mail-in ballots were sent out here in Maryland. So far, they've gotten 31,000 back in Prince George's, a large Democratic voting bloc, the largest part of this District 5 race, and a lot of candidates waiting to see what Prince Georgians are going to decide, along with the rest of the counties that are in this district. Back to you all.
Crowded field, so much right. You've really got our curiosity here about Aisha Braveboy, the county executive, doing this 11th hour switch over to Quincy Berebe. Do we know why, and is it too little too late at this point to make a difference?
Well, I would imagine that it's too little too late. I would tell you that. But as I'm talking to folks, what I'm hearing is that a lot of this has to do with polling and what people are hearing about who may just pull it out in this race. You know, at the end of all of this, we started to see in the last few weeks both Harry Dunn and Quincy Berebe start to go kind of negative with a real focus on what was happening with the PAC money that has been supporting Bawafo. And so who knows if that did or didn't have an impact on how voters feel about this race. But obviously, we're seeing some things change on the ground and also at the polls. We've been hearing from voters who have been chanting and basically saying how they feel about that PAC money when Bawafo shows up at the polls. So it's been very interesting on the ground. But what really matters, and what's going to matter at the end of the night, is who gets the most votes. Yeah. That's how this is all going to be decided. And we're just going to have to wait and see when the polls close at 8 p.m.
And hopefully we will have those results live tonight at 11. All right. Tracy, thank you so much. Size, speed, and skill, all on the draft board tonight for the Washington Wizards. They have a very important decision to make. Who will help lead this franchise for years to come?
Now, we have an idea of who could be coming to D.C. The person many believe Washington will select with tonight's top pick is BYU's A.J. DeBonsa. Now, he led the nation in scoring with about 25 points a game. The 6'9" forward was also named the Big 12 Player of the Year.
But maybe the Wizards are thinking point guard. Darren Peterson can certainly fill that role. He averaged 20 points a game last season at Kansas. One red flag here, though. He missed several games due to injuries.
And this next player has been around the NBA his whole life. Cameron Boozer is the son of two-time NBA All-Star Carlos Boozer. Playing alongside his twin brother at Duke, Cameron averaged over 22 points and 10 rebounds a game. And while these players are pretty good, Cameron was named the National College Player of the Year.
All right, our JP Finley's been following these young stars' careers. He joins us live now from the Barclays Center. JP, the front office has a big decision to make in less than 30 minutes now. Do you have any idea which way they may be leaning?
Sean, you know what? I don't know who they're going to take, but the fans are starting to pile in here. Folks are fired up. It's clearly going to be, I think, between A.J. DeBonsa and Darren Peterson, as you mentioned. Maybe it could be Cam Boozer. We're not entirely sure, but let's ask the fans who they want. Sir, who do you want at one?
Come on, man. This pick was made last week. It's Mr. A.J. DeBonsa.
Let's go to the man in the John Wall jersey here. Who do you want?
I mean, he's got it. It's clear. It's AJ.
What about you, sir? Who do you want tonight?
AJ DeBonsa.
You got to show the card. Let's go. You got the Mystics hat and the Wiz jersey. Who do you want tonight?
AJ DeBonsa, baby. 200K, rainbow face.
What about the Nats boys? What about you fellas?
We want Mr. DeBonsa.
Darren Peterson. One vote Peterson. One vote Peterson. What about you in the back?
It's got to be Peterson.
Oh, 2 votes Peterson. Any more Petersons out there?
Nah, hell no. We need that answer.
Let's keep it clean. You got to vote. DeBonsa.
AJ. I know AJ's name.
The people want AJ mostly. Now, you're a Sixers fan wearing a Wizards jersey. I don't understand this. Who's going number 1?
AJ's going number 1. It's just a hunch.
There you go. What do you got?
It's a stacked draft class. All respect to Peterson, Boozer, all those guys. We need a generational talent. It's got to be AJ. It's AJ time.
Love the Heels. Love Caleb. AJ's coming home. AJ's coming home. We're going to find out in about a half hour. It should be fun.
That could be AJ
Go back to
time.
you guys before somebody curses.
That was a nice pullback on that mic. You've had some practice.
We understand.
I'm trying. The cocktails are flowing here in Brooklyn.
I'll bet they
for
are.
the fans. I can tell you that much.
It's an exciting night. All right, so we'll see. We talked about this earlier. I'm not necessarily one way or the other. We just want to win. That's what Amelia and I were talking about earlier. We just want to win. So whoever's going to bring the wins, that's what we want.
And AJ's going to be the one to do it.
I mean, I think he's got flair. He can dunk. It'll be pretty to watch him play. So, all right.
We
we'll
will
see.
find out shortly. Much more to come tonight on the News 4 Rundown. After the break, we're going to take a look at some important races, again, happening in Prince George's and Montgomery counties.
But first, the rain we saw earlier today has moved out. The question is, what can we expect for the rest of the work week? Let's get right to Storm Team 4, Amelia Draper. Hey, Amelia.
Hey, Sean and Jim. Here's a look at your wake-up weather tomorrow morning. We're starting off in the 50s and 60s, so really comfortable for this time of year by the mid to late morning hours. Temperatures are in the 70s. It's sunny. It's nice. I'm going to have more on increasing storm chances toward the end of the weekend. Kudos to JP and the fans. They kept it clean, and he allowed like 10 to 15 live interviews. That's amazing for live Yeah, right? Woo! Nice job, JP. All right, we'll see you in a minute.
We're back now with the latest on the Maryland primary night. Those polls close in less than 30 minutes.
Yeah, today's primary will set the stage for November's general election. And our Dominic Moody spoke with voters today in Landover Hills about their turnout today.
Yes, there has been a steady flow of voters that have been coming into this Landover Hills polling location. And, you know, earlier in the day, we saw some of that rain that was coming down, and we thought that maybe that might be a deterrent for some people. But they told us we are still coming out to make sure that our ballot is cast. And in today's primary election, I want to talk a little bit about some of the seats that are up for grabs, especially in Prince George's County. So, of course, we know we have the county executive seat, and then we have the county council as well as the state's attorney's office as well. And so when we talk with voters, they said that they wanted to see a change in leadership. They wanted some more stability. And so when we talk about some of those issues that were on their minds before showing up, here's what they had to say.
Housing issues and taking care of the seniors, population, our children, domestic violence is like a top priority right now.
Leadership, a change in office, you know, everything. Yeah, I think it's time for change. The killing is just getting, I mean, we're losing a whole generation of people. And that's what makes me have to come out here in the rain to make a difference.
I would like to see a whole lot more visibility for kids. You know, some kids, they have to do something, but then, you know, it takes time for that.
So lots of issues on the minds of voters as they're coming in to cast their ballot. Of course, we always want to remind you that as long as you are in line by 8 o'clock, you still will have the ability to make sure your voice is heard. Back to you.
Dominic Moody, thank you. You know, one of the biggest races in Montgomery County is to determine the Democratic nominee for county executive.
That's right. The man who holds that job right now, Mark Elrich, is term limited, so he's running for county council, leaving the executive seat wide open. News 4's Mauricio Casillas has more now from voters in Silver Spring.
We spent the afternoon and early evening at Springbrook High School here in Silver Spring, and we've seen a steady stream of people coming and going, casting their ballots. Not as many as you might have imagined. Maybe the clouds and the rain played a factor. But those that we did speak with say that they've been motivated by different factors like affordability, cost of living, education, things of that nature. That's what's brought them out to cast their ballots. Now, in a county like Montgomery County that is very blue-leaning, blue and left-leaning, tonight's winner of the Democratic primary is expected to become the next county executive here in Montgomery County. Now, there are 5 Democrats on the ballot, but based on polling and fundraising, the race has emerged as a 3-way contest between current county council members Andrew Friedson, Evan Glass, and Will Jawando, all of whom were elected in 2018. The race is centered around challenges like the rising cost of housing, as I mentioned, and responding to the Trump administration's policies, which are affecting Montgomery County's large federal workforce and the future of data center development. Each campaign has released internal polling showing that this is an extremely close race. Here's what voters tell us about what they're thinking about as they cast their ballots.
The Montgomery County Public Schools is a huge concern of mine, and the way the funding needs to be complete, and I'd like all of our next county council executive to fully fund the schools. I'm a teacher.
So the immigration issues, we have such a multitude of people in this area from different places, and I hate to see it get to the point where any of them suffer because of where they've come from or how they got here.
Probably one of the biggest ones was AI, you know, like data centers and all that. You know, I think it's kind of been really big recently, and, you know, I'm just trying to think about the environment and all the stuff that's kind of going on with it.
Also running in the Democratic primary, Mithun Banerjee and Peter James, and Republicans are choosing between Esther Wells and Shelley Skolnick. Polls are open until 8 p.m. and of course we're going to have complete coverage of this tightly contested race. Reporting in Silver Spring, Mauricio Casillas, News 4.
I was wondering if the weather we had earlier today might affect people heading to the polls, but it cleared out nicely, so no excuses.
I mean, beautiful once like 4 or 5 o'clock rolled around, the rain moved out, the sun came out, and it's really nice weather, not just tonight, but Wednesday and Thursday as well.
Excellent. We do like that.
I mean, look at this picture right now at the National Harbor. Just gorgeous right now with the Capitol wheel there. A nice, cool evening, a little bit of a breeze. Gorgeous tomorrow and Thursday. I'm tracking storms on Friday later in the day. And then Saturday, plenty of clouds and maybe a shower here or there. It's not like a rainy day, and I'm not talking about severe weather, but Sunday right now is looking like the better of the 2 weekend days. Speaking to the rain that moved through earlier, this storm system now clearing our area. You can see some heavy rain over the Atlantic, whereas in our area, we're seeing nice clear skies, really comfortable dry air across the region. Now, we did get some beneficial rain today. All in all, between yesterday and today, our area picked up just over an inch of rain. So today, here in the district, we saw about 4/10 of an inch of rain. But all in all, as they put this graphic back here, you can see we picked up at the major airports, Dulles, DCA, BWI, Marshall, we picked up just over an inch of rain. So we needed the rain. We still need more, but we'll take what we can get at this point. And then looking to tonight, man, 74 degrees, low humidity, a nice northerly breeze out there. That sets us up for a great start tomorrow at 68 degrees. It's not too hot throughout the morning hours. Even by lunchtime, we're at 78, a high of 84. Our average high is 88. So 84, low humidity, sunny skies. Tomorrow is a 10 out of 10 weather-wise. Perfect for heading to the pool tomorrow, Thursday, getting out to the park. The kids may have been cooped up inside today if they're home. Camp hasn't started yet, so you can get them out these next few days. No issues at all. Now, taking them to the pool on Friday, I'm putting it at a maybe with those storms in the forecast later in the day. So head to the pool earlier. You can get that out of the way, then kind of head home, wrap up, get ready for the weekend. Saturday maybe as well, because a few showers and plenty of clouds around. It's not like a definitely no pool day. It's not just a phenomenal pool day, but all in all, these next 2 days, 84, 87 tomorrow and Thursday. As we look to Friday, the humidity does start to build in with a chance for storms coming in at 60% during the afternoon hours. A good chance for storms on Friday. Some of them could be strong to severe, gusty, damaging winds would be the biggest threat. Putting together a social media video on that straight line wind damage that happened in Burke last night. That was a microburst, and how that is different from a tornado, but the damage can essentially be the same. So you'll find that on Instagram later tonight. Sunday, a high temperature of 88 degrees. Next week, we return to the mid-90s.
The heat is back. Summer. Wait, didn't we official summer started today or yesterday?
Father's Day, we officially started summer. Yeah, so a lot going on this past weekend.
Yeah, we did. All right.
Now we get to relax.
Thanks, Amelia.
We'll be right back.
So we get to relax now?
Yes, it's time to relax.
Before we go right now, we want to check in with our Erica Gonzalez at the big board.
Yeah, she's monitoring election results from all the primary races in Maryland. Erica, what are you watching?
Hey, guys. All right, so we're about 3 minutes away from the polls closing. We can tell you that so far, Maryland has received about 40,000 mail-in ballots. Approximately 200,000 were sent out, and slightly more than 185,000 people voted early in these primaries. So, of course, the races that we're going to be watching, specifically the District 5 race, we have talked a lot about this. The two things here is money and notoriety. Is the super PAC money going to be enough for Adrian Boafo to tip the scales in his favor? Is the notoriety, the star power to have governors, congress members, senators in your corner? Does an endorsement still carry the same weight that it once did? So that's, of course, that is in the 5th district. And then, of course, the race in the 6th district, the incumbent April McLean Delaney against David Trone, a former congressman trying to win back this seat after a failed attempt at the U.S. Senate seat, and millions of dollars spent in this campaign as well. Jim and Sean?
It's going to be a busy night. Erica, we will be looking forward to your big board breakdowns. Thank you very much.
And we'll all be right here with you throughout the evening. We'll also be closely watching what the Wizards do tonight and decide on their #1 overall pick. JP Finley's going to join us live at 11 from New York.
That's right. Thanks so much for joining us for the News 4 Rundown. We'll see you back here at 11.